Good evening, everyone. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. I started off with last January, I was actually doing a presentation for some teachers about how they use data with Edulastic. And what became real interesting is I decided to do a Pear Deck presentation and just get some feedback to kind of see what they did ahead of time. And I found that my teachers had a little bit of a disconnect between formative and summative assessments. And what I could do is quickly go through my slides and change it for each group that I did. And so Alyssa's going to do the next slide. I want to show you how you could do that in your classroom instruction. And so this picture shows that I really started with just a basic social studies slides about voting rights. And I added two types of questions, which I tried to highlight, which were the Pear Deck questions at the beginning, and then some uh, slides I call placeholders. Next slide. So when they start, they would get the can I vote? And we talk about, we're going to answer some questions on if they could vote or voting rights. Next slide. So the students would just get quickly questions like the one you see on the board. And I don't want them to spend a lot of time on this. It's just maybe like a 5-second question. And I give them the option of I don't know, just because it is a pretest. I'm just trying to see what I'm about to teach and the pretest. So next slide. And as they're taking it, I can see their results. And we kind of got to see that earlier with Mary Alice. So I'm not going to go spend a lot of time on that. Next slide. But this is my favorite part of Pear Deck with instructing. I already had a PowerPoint made or a Google slide presentation made. And so what I can do is I can slide on that left bar and pick the next slide my kids see. And they don't even know that I might be skipping some slides throughout the presentation. So what I would do is put in place value or placeholding slides. And so Alyssa, next slide. And for this one, I just put something that jumped out at me quickly. I would never show them this slide, but that way I knew if I didn't need to go to the 15th Amendment, I could go ahead and go to the next amendment. Or if I needed it, it was easy for me to find. Next slide. One of my favorite things about Pear Deck is at the bottom right, you could turn on the student pace, like once we were in the teacher pace presentation, if you need to change it. You can also invite the co-teacher. You have lots of options, but that new prompt, which is right there on the bottom of the screen as well. Next slide, Alyssa, will allow you to put a prompt in if you need to during the presentation. And I think sometimes, especially, our kids will get confused and we might need to make sure we clarified it one other way. And rather than having to say, hold on, let me make a new slide, you can do it quickly while the kids are working. So next slide. My point to make is that you don't have to recreate any of your presentations. You can quickly add quick checks with just simple checks in and out of the slides. So thank you.